The man puts a black plastic bag over the toilet. Then he takes off his trousers and sits on it in full view of the public. Afterwards, a shovel is used to scoop up a spoonful of dirt and mix it thoroughly before packing it up and throwing it into a deep pit. In an apocalyptic existence, to prevent the spread of disease, everyone in the neighborhood has to control their own hygiene. It turns out that the city was hit by a massive earthquake not long ago. The whole city is in ruins. Only one building, the Palace Apartments, remains standing. People from the neighborhood flocked to the building and waited for the government to rescue them. But after several days, no rescue team has arrived. They realized that this might not be a simple earthquake. Soon supplies were scarce and money was no longer enough to buy anything. Candles, petrol and batteries were in high demand. Jack took off his watch in exchange for a tin of yellow peaches. He wanted to give it all to his wife, Lisa, to enjoy alone. But when Lisa saw the refugee children at home, she gave the can to the little boy. But in the face of disaster, the selfishness of mankind began to show. Many of the refugees began to steal from the natives. There was even a conflict that led to a house fire. Everyone retreated to avoid the fire. Only a man wearing a towel rushed forward with a fire extinguisher. Seeing that the fire was still out of control, he went back out and found a fire hydrant. Because of the low temperature, the water gun was frozen. Luckily, with the man's efforts, he was able to unscrew the valve. Eventually, the fire was brought under control. The man's name is Carl and he claims to live in room 902. Security investigated and found that the fire was caused by a refugee who broke into an Aboriginal home and used an unauthorized combustion appliance. So the head of the Women's Commission called all the Aborigines to discuss whether they should still accept the refugees. After the burglary, most people were in favor of kicking the refugees out. With the decision to build a new society, a leader had to be chosen. This person must have a spirit of sacrifice. So they all turned their attention to Carl. The next day, Carl gathered all the young men and women to form a protection unit. Then he broadcast a call for all the refugees to gather in the square under the pretext of distributing housing. In fact, he wanted to expel them by force. Even the security guards, who had worked in the flats for 20 years, were unceremoniously evicted. Soon there was a clash. Suddenly, someone hit Carl in the head with a stick. Luckily, Carl grabbed the weapon and scared off the crowd with his strength. At that moment, numerous flower pots and bricks fell from the upper floors to scare away the refugees. Afterwards, Carl's bravery became even more popular. The first step in building a new society is to set rules. The first rule was that the flats belong to the residents only. Only residents are entitled to move in. The second rule was that goods were to be distributed according to labor. Those who contributed more to the community received more. The defense team also called on all men between the ages of 16 and 60 to volunteer. A maintenance unit and a medical unit have also been set up. Everything seems to be going in the right direction. Every day, men are out searching for supplies. Not so much searching as looting. One day they found a small supermarket. They just pried open the door and were about to go in when a man came out with a gun. Carl pretended to apologize and calm the man down, but Jack had already sneaked up behind the shopkeeper. They were able to subdue the owner. Then they ransacked the owner's mini-mart and took 2 dogs with him. Rumors of their presence have terrorized the refugees. Everywhere they passed, the refugees ran for their lives. The day